Now, I talked about before the 90s and how influential it is for cinema, but we wouldn't have 1990s films if there wasn't the 1970 movies, which are absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to start with the Godfather movies because they're just brilliant. It's a movie that has absolutely everything. It has a great story. It's shot brilliantly. Acting performances are just on our level. There's nothing that's going to match this whole cast. Like, it's just insane. The storytelling of The Godfather is so rich and so ahead of its time. I love both movies equally, and I can say the same thing about the books because they are just so good. And there is also this story about Mario Puzo. Now, after the success of The Godfather, Mario Puzo wanted to get more into screenwriting. So he went to a bookstore and he found this one book about script writing, and the first page he opened, it says read The Godfather, which it's so insane. Now, another movie from the 70s which is equally as good as The Godfather is going to be One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Same thing here. Storytelling, acting, the way the movie looks visually, sound, brilliant. This movie is going to blow your mind because just the story hooks you like from the first 5 minutes. And Jack Nicholson's performance is, I don't know why people don't talk much about this performance till today. It's so good and it's so truthful. And then we get to Taxi Driver, which is probably one of the most influential movies of all time. What Scorsese has done here is just wow. Like, I don't even have words for it. Because to make a movie about loneliness and also a character that's so troubled and also been probably traumatized, like, you really don't have like all the answers, but you kind of understand who he is, and through silence and through actions. The performance from Robert De Niro, I do understand why it's so influential for so many new actors, because just to portray loneliness that way, it's you gotta have some skill, man, and talent and everything. And I do understand now why. Star Wars, it's another one. I'm not a fan of Star Wars. I never liked it, except when I was a kid, just like the lightsaber fights. But I do understand why people will love it. This is what put the start to something that's so different, and it put like a whole new genre of sci-fi thanks to this movie. And it's something that mixed action and story, and it puts you like in a world that it's so unknown. Nobody knows shit about Star Wars. What the fuck is this? And this movie explains you everything, the story, the races, the everything that's in this one. It's just, that's why I have to say it's a really good one. Still not a fan of it, but what it did for sci-fi is just ridiculous. A Clockwork Orange is another one, and this one is, I don't even know how they made this movie in the 70s, to be honest, man, because kind of some of the films in the 70s are kind of censored in a way, but this movie fucking shows you everything. Yes, it is kind of traumatizing, but it's a good movie, and the way it was shot is brilliant. And of course it's Kubrick, so you know the movie is going to look good and the story is going to be good. But yeah, my big question is how they made all these great movies in the 70s without the censorship that it has right now. Now, another movie from the 70s I love is going to be The Deer Hunter. I had no clue what this movie was about before. Someone said that it's good, so I'm just give it a try. And I fucking loved it. It's very dramatic, and I love the way it kind of, you watch the story and it's very interesting at first, and you kind of like are into this whole world that they live in, and then it puts you like in the Vietnam War. You're like, what the fuck just happened? And it's a great storytelling, honestly. I do recommend this movie to everyone. Also, the 70s were big for musicals. For example, Grease, and also Hair. Now, Hair is not that popular, but Grease was pretty much like kind of like a revolution in the 70s, you know, when also the hippie movement with Hair, that was kind of like also very popular. I don't like musicals, but these are not that bad. And I don't like pretty much any other musical except for La La Land, but La La Land has It's more than just a musical. It gives you so much. Now, for me, one of the toughest movies to make is a neo noir story. And of course, we've seen that with Seven, but before that, it was Chinatown, and Chinatown really tells an amazing story. Of course, again, we got Jack Nicholson playing the lead, and he is great too. But it's a movie that's definitely going to, like, there are things that you won't expect, and it just the whole build of the movie is brilliant. Rocky, probably the first sports drama ever done in a movie, and or maybe I just can't remember anything before 1976, but this one, what's very special about it, you do always want to have this lead that it's smart and handsome and all that shit. And you don't get this one here, but you get someone that's very human. And Rocky does it just amazing. Now, I do think this movie has too many sequels. I like the first three movies, they're great, but Rocky 1 is just very special, and I do understand also why it's so important for all the sports movies after. Jaws, of course, which is the first big blockbuster movie, and it's kind of interesting because it's also a horror film, and I guess people wanted that back then. And is it a good movie? I think it's really good, and I think it looks very good visually. Of course, this movie didn't age really well. That's just in my opinion, but it's still very entertaining to watch. And of course, I have to talk about this movie, Superman 1978, which I'm not a fan of it, but I do recognize what this movie did for superhero films, and it showed that it's possible. Now, I'll watch this movie just for entertainment, and that's pretty much it. But also, I have to say, what they done in '78 with special effects and all that shit, it just on our level. Just watch like every other sci-fi or like something that's close to a superhero movie like from 60s and 70s and 80s, and just look at this one. It did, of course, it had a big budget, but it it just really good. Now, I'm not going to talk about all the great movies from the 70s, but I'm going to mention some here. Barry Lyndon, Saturday Night Fever, Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, The French Connection, Dirty Harry, Shaft, MASH, Alien, of course, Planet of the Apes, Manhattan Network, The Conversation, which is great. Also, we got two James Bond movies, The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. Of course, one of the most influential horror movies of all time, which is going to be The Exorcist. And I just think they should just leave this one because they make all these sequels because someone has the rights for the name. Just so stupid. I think the first one is there's nothing like it. But yeah, tell me which one is your favorite movie from the 70s, and I'll see you on the next one.